What it is, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. It is one hot piece up in here tonight. Woo! Had to turn my AC fan off so you could hear me. So anyway, I just pulled this truck in, got it up in the air. It's here for a diff rebuild. Put a set of gears in it, a new posi unit, and setting it all up for the guy. So I thought I'd take a couple minutes and go over some stuff on this truck. Now, I know you guys that follow my channel know that a lot of you guys are here because of the OBS Ford truck stuff, or maybe some of the other junk I share, buy, whatever. Who cares? So, is this an F-150 or is this a first-gen Lightning? Let's talk about it real quick. So this actually really is a first-gen Lightning. Paint's kind of faded on her. She's had a little bit of outside life. But let's let me get my light here. Let's talk about a few things that make this a Lightning and not just a clone or an F-150 with some Lightning stickers. So if you're going, and I'm not going to get into all the specs, I'm not going to get into he said, she said. We're just going to talk about a few basic things that make this a real Lightning. So you want to look at a truck. The guy says, oh man, I got me a Lightning. I'll sell it to you cheap. Nobody's selling a Lightning cheap. If they are, something's wrong. I had a guy call me one time because everybody in this area knows that I buy these trucks, all shapes. I don't care if they're burned to the ground, I buy them. I got a Lightning. I pulled the cab and the motor out of it. Okay. I get there. It's not a Lightning. It was just a 6-cylinder, 2-wheel drive, short bed pickup. That now, all the sheet metal is the same as an F-150. There's nothing different about the sheet metal. And it had Lightning stickers on the bed. Was it a Lightning bed or not? Who knows? Who cares? But at the end of the day, the frame was not a Lightning. One real quick thing you can look at to tell if you got a Lightning frame is this. You can look right through the rear wheel well, and if you'll notice where my hand is, there's an outline there, and there's an outline right there. This plate that my hand is on is Lightning only. This is a frame stiffener that Ford put in, or the SVT team put in, to make the frame stiffer above the rear axle. The shock mount is riveted through this plate as well as the frame, and then they got a couple stitches of welds around it, and the bump stops bolted through. Again, Lightning only. You won't find that on F-150 anything. Next thing you'll notice is that right there. See that? That right there under the leaf spring is a traction bar. Or back in the days, we used to call them Action Jackson Slapper. And it helps with wheel hop. Kind of like how that camera just moved. This rubber snubber will touch up on the leaf spring and helps eliminate wheel hop in these trucks if you stand on it and want to really beat on it. Again, it's kind of specific to Lightning only, nothing else. Next thing you're going to notice is the rear axle in this truck is also Lightning only. Yes, it's an 8.8 rear, like you'll find in a regular F-150 or, you know, a Bronco. But what you're going to notice is all this extra webbing. All this extra webbing is just the Lightning trucks only. They didn't use it in anything else. I don't know why, but they did use it for this. It was part to help make the front of this pinion area stronger. Again, so guys would beat on them or race them or whatever, they would stay together. Another thing, too, about a Lightning is what's above my head. Aluminum dry shaft. Has aluminum dry shaft. These trucks all had a track lock in them. They all had sway bars. Sway bar up front. Now, pretty much going forward, the frame rails are pretty much the same as an F-150. There's nothing different. It does, however, have different springs in the front. The front of these trucks do sit lower than a regular F-150. These trucks all had 351, 5.8, and of course they had GT40 head, intake, which everybody knows all that stuff if you're into these things. They do, however, have factory style shorty header, and they also have true dual exhaust, and they have a very unique exhaust. So you're going to have the cat converters. If you noticed, they're stacked on top of each other. And that's Lightning only. It has this goofy flange right here where the exhaust will bolt together, or where you bolt the rest of your exhaust on, I should say. So there's a few things you can look for, you know, next time a guy says, oh, I got a Lightning parts truck I want to sell you cheap. Well, nobody's selling. I can tell you right now, in today's day and times, nobody's selling the first gen Lightning cheap. I don't care how tore up it is, how rotted out it is, or burnt to the ground. They all still hold some kind of value, and pretty decent value at that. Just like any other F-150 that you want to look out for is the same stuff that I've talked about before in the videos. You know, your shackles, your shock mounts. But I'll tell you another thing, too, to look out for on these Lightning trucks is if you get one and you're in the salt belt area, kind of like, unfortunately, like we are, that frame rail that I just showed you, you'll get rust jacketing. Now, what rust jacketing is where you got two pieces together and the rust builds up and starts pushing them out. They will rot the frame out behind that plate. That is a common problem with that brace that's put on the frames. They will rot the frame out. So if you go to look at one of these trucks and it's a little scaly underneath, look at those rails really close because you might end up with rusty frame rails in the back where that extra plate is. That is a common problem. Of course, your normal stuff like we've talked about before, shock towers, radius arm hangers. Lightning that I bought this past summer, it needs all that stuff. It's a little crusty underneath, but it is a Lightning. I am planning on probably tearing the whole truck apart. Probably going to do a fairly decent resto on it, unfortunately, because it's just needs to be going through. Truck's got 220 on the clock, I think. Maybe not. This truck here's got 260 on it. And it's got all the normal stuff that a 5.8 needs. It's got a rear main seal leak, oil pan's leaking. Like I said, it's here for a rear rebuild. So I'm doing the rear, and then he's got somebody's going to finish up some other stuff on it for him, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But, you know, maybe that'll lighten up some stuff so you guys can understand a few things on these trucks. There's a lot of talk all over YouTube and everywhere else, information people give out on these things, but I just figured I'd share some on my channel. Since I had one in here, and I've got one in here that's, you know, this truck unfortunately has been outside, looks like 3/4 of its life. The cab's really nice on it, the bed's really nice. It does have some rust in the fenders and the Ragger Sport, which is typical of a 93 truck that spent its life outside. Interior is pretty decent. It needs a headliner and some door panel work. But overall, it's a pretty decent truck. Like I said, it's not a total rot box. It's been painted at one point in its life, and somebody put some god-awful pinstripes on. Now, why would you put pinstripe on a Lightning? It's beyond me. But it is what it is. So, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about on this truck for this evening. I did, however, finally got another fender in for the Bronco build that I've been talking about here on the channel. Plan on doing some stuff with that here real shortly. Maybe even this weekend we'll get it in here. I like to get the motor out of the truck and get the new motor installed. I'm on my third passenger side fender, and it didn't arrive any better than the other ones. So I'm tired of going back and forth with this company. I can say the company that I did buy these from, they did send no issues at all. I bought these things through Amazon from carparts.com, and the company has been phenomenal. They've sent me 3 fenders, well, I should say 2 replacements now, and they did a really good job. I mean, it's not their fault, it's FedEx's fault. FedEx is just throwing these things around. So the third fender showed up today. The top here, which is above the headlight, it was bent straight over. I kind of hammered and dollied it a little bit, and I got it back to its shape. But unfortunately, I don't know how I'm going to fix this other side without, and I don't think I'm going to. It's bent right there. I don't know if you can see it. And not only did they bend it there, it's got a dimple here and here. And I don't know where or how. There's nothing inside, so I don't know how it's got 2 dimples sticking out. Now, I could probably do something with that. Of course, this corner here is bent over right here. That I could probably straighten. But, you know, these things cost $200 a piece, was the only reason I kept putting in for it. The second one they sent me, this was just the only damaged part on it, and right here. And I was actually, I spent a little bit of time on it this evening. I hammered and dollied it and got it actually really, really good. I could actually live with it. It turned out okay. I straightened out here. I got a little bit there that I want to straighten out, but other than that, this came good. Now the driver's side fender, it arrived with no damage. And the first passenger side fender, it's mangled up at the bottom. The very, very bottom, right here, this whole area is bent and it's wavy and waffled right in here. I don't know what they're doing with these things. Are they throwing them around? Are they playing basketball with them? I don't know. I'm not putting in for another one. I'm just gonna deal with it. It is what it is. It's not the supplier's fault. It's shipping. Technically, it is the supplier's fault because I sent them 2 emails explaining that they need to put some stuff in the box with the fender. Put some cardboard around it. Put some bubble wrap, something. They're just shoving them in a great big box and out the door. And you know exactly like I do what Leroy up on the fucking loading dock's doing. Yeah, you seen the football game last night? That's what he's doing. He don't give a shit. $6 an hour guy. He's probably only worth $2 an hour. He's probably only worth $2 a day. So it is what it is. FedEx strikes again. So it's hot out here. I'm going in and getting a shower. I'm cutting the lights off and calling it a day. Holla at your boy.